Let's look at a typical example of a strengthen the argument question. To quickly recap the concept of an argument, remember the idea of an argument contains two factors. One is the factual part and the other is the author's conclusion or opinion. So when you read the argument for the first time and you know that it's a strengthened question, remember that you will only be strengthening the author's conclusion, not the factual part, because facts are fixed. Facts can neither be strengthened nor weakened. Let's read the argument and look out for the fact and the conclusion. Wagonia, unlike most other countries, requires insurers to pay for any damages resulting from automobile collisions, even if such damage is not on the pre-approved list for claims. Clearly, this practice is the reason that the amount spent by insurers on collision damage in Wagonia is greater than that in any other country that has a comparable population size. The word clearly is a dead giveaway. Any sentence with the word clearly has to be the author's opinion, without a doubt. So in this argument, there are two sentences. The first part, from here to here, is the evidence part or the factual part, and the last sentence is the author's point of view. So this is what we want to strengthen. What do we want to strengthen? Let's simplify it because it's a fairly long sentence. What we want to strengthen is the reason that insurance companies spend more money on collision damage in Wagonia than in any other country is that the insurance companies have to pay for any damage resulting from automobile collisions, even if such damage was not pre-approved. So no matter what damage happens to a car during a collision, if the car is insured, the insurance company has to pay for the repairs. Therefore, insurance companies in Wagonia spend a lot more money than other countries with similar populations. Let's look at the choices for this. Which of the following, if true, most strengthens the argument? Option A says the rates of automobile insurance in Wagonia are greater than in most other countries with a comparable population size. Now, this option can be eliminated as being out of scope because we aren't talking about the rates that people have to pay to insure their cars. We're talking about the amount of money that insurance companies have to spend. B says Wagonia does not offer its citizens free health care plans. This word makes it out of scope. We are not talking about health care, we are talking about automobile damage. C says the rate of automobile collisions in Wagonia is among the highest in the world. Now, this is a typical example of an option that sounds very relevant because it's talking about automobile collisions. So let me read this one, and since it's a tempting choice, I'm probably going to put a question mark next to it and come back to it. D says many insurance providers in Wagonia have shut down due to the recent recession. This one is a little irrelevant to what we want to prove. We want to prove that the existing automobile insurance providers spend more money than insurance providers in other countries. So we aren't talking about those who have shut down. He says Wagonia has an unusually low rate of traffic accidents when compared with its neighboring countries. So we are down to these two options, C and E, and when you are down to two options which are both fairly close to each other, it's probably a good idea to go back to the argument just to verify what you wanted to prove if you haven't written it down already. So if you recall, what we are trying to prove is the fact that insurance companies have to pay for any damages resulting from collisions is the reason that they spend far more money than insurance companies in other countries. So this argument really falls into a typical pattern of cause and effect. What we can call A leads to B. This cause has led to this effect. In this case, our cause is here and our effect is here. So there are typically only a few ways in which you strengthen or weaken a given argument, and the patterns usually recur. So in this case, the argument, the question falls into the pattern of we can strengthen this argument by reinforcing the fact that it is indeed this cause which has led to this effect. No other cause has led to this effect, or reinforce that this cause is the real reason. So going back to the two choices, C says the rate of automobile collisions in Wagonia is among the highest in the world. So consider the implications of this statement. In a country where the rates of collisions are high, meaning that there are more accidents in Wagonia than anywhere else, so the rate of collisions itself could be a reason that the insurance companies have to spend more money. Not the fact, as given in the argument, that they have to pay for any damage that is caused to the car. So more accidents, logically, an increase in the number of accidents should logically lead to an increase in the amount of money that is spent by the companies. So if anything, option C, even though it seems so relevant, is actually weakening the argument, because it is suggesting that the accidents, the increase in the number of accidents, the greater rate of accidents in Wagonia, the highest in the world, is the reason that insurance companies need to spend more money, which is not at all what we want to prove. And if you look at option E, it's actually saying pretty much the opposite of what C is saying. Wagonia has an unusually low rate of traffic accidents. So if it has a lower rate of accidents, then the money spent should also be lower. But it is not. Why? Because of the reason given in the argument that insurance companies in Wagonia have to pay for any damage that is sustained to the car after an accident. So be careful when you have two answer choices which are very close to each other. Try to think of the implications of the statement more than just picking the one that sounds better when you read it.